the threat that shook the stars. The night over Earth was calm, and the world moved in its normal rhythm. People slept, cities glowed softly, and oceans rested under the silver moon. No one knew that everything was about to change forever. No one knew that the galaxy was watching Earth in silence, waiting for the right moment to strike. Captain Aaron Cole stood on the bridge of the human warship Helios, a powerful yet silent ship drifting in orbit above Earth. He had seen many battles, but tonight he felt something strange, a quiet pressure, like the air before a storm. The Helios scanners kept sweeping space, picking up nothing unusual, but Cole's instincts whispered the truth. "Something is coming," he murmured, his voice low and uneasy. Down on Earth, at the same moment, every screen, every radio, every satellite signal suddenly froze. Governments panicked, families stared in confusion, pilots lost navigation, and the world's communication grid blinked into darkness. A deep echo rolled through the skies as a massive holographic image appeared above every major city, stretching across the clouds like the shadow of a giant. It was the face of an alien commander from the Galactic Empire, cold, sharp, and filled with cruel confidence. His voice spread across Earth in every language, ancient and terrifying. "Humanity," he said, "your time has ended, kneel now or be erased from the stars." The message ended, but the echo of his voice seemed to stay in the air, like poison that refused to fade. People screamed, soldiers rushed into bases, and leaders demanded answers. The world had never seen anything like this, not even in the darkest years of war. For a moment, Earth felt completely helpless, like prey frozen under the gaze of a predator. But the Helios did not panic. The crew looked toward Captain Cole, waiting for his order. His eyes narrowed as he replayed the alien broadcast. Something was wrong. The Empire had not just sent a threat. Hidden inside the hologram was a strange pattern. A signal, a sequence of numbers. It looked random, but Cole knew better. It was a set of coordinates. "Why would they send us coordinates?" the Helios science officer asked in shock. Cole replied, "Because they want us to see something." Against the advice of Earth Command, the Helios activated faster-than-light travel and jumped toward the mysterious coordinates. The crew held their breath as the stars stretched into long silver lines. The jump lasted only a few seconds, but to them it felt like falling into a dark pit. Then the ship emerged, and everyone stared in horror. They had arrived near the remains of a planet floating in space. The planet was broken into huge pieces, like shattered glass drifting around a dying sun. Fire still burned on the floating fragments, and clouds of dust glowed like dying stars. It was not destroyed by nature, it was destroyed by force. The Helios slowly moved closer, scanning the ruins. There was no life left, no signals, no heat signatures, nothing but silence and ash. The crew watched through the viewing window, their hearts heavy. This was not a battlefield, this was a warning. Then the scanners picked up something else, a giant mark carved into the largest fragment of the dead planet. The words were burned into the surface with terrifying precision. They said only two words, huge and glowing in the dark: "Earth is next." The bridge fell silent. No one spoke. Some felt fear, some felt anger, but all understood the truth now. The Empire had not simply threatened Earth, they had already destroyed others. They were coming, and they believed humanity would fall just like this broken world. Captain Cole clenched his fists. He knew humanity could not wait for the Empire to arrive. Earth needed to act first, fast and strong, or everything would be lost. But Cole also knew something else. The Empire made a mistake. Humans did not break under threats, they rose. "Prepare the jump back to Earth," Cole ordered. His voice was calm, but under the calm was fire. The world must see this. When the Helios returned to Earth, global leaders gathered in a hidden underground command bunker. Cole showed them the destroyed planet, the carved message, and the Empire's threat. Fear filled the room, but something else began to grow too, something stronger than fear. It was determination. The leaders asked Cole, "What can we do? Their power is too great." Cole stared at them with steady eyes. "We still have something," he said. "A project we never revealed to the galaxy, a weapon the Empire does not know, a system built for the moment humanity has no other choice." The room froze. Everyone knew what he meant. Project Apex, a weapon built in silence, tested in shadows, hidden even from many world governments, a weapon designed not just to fight, but to change the entire balance of war. Cole continued, "The Empire thinks we will kneel, but they have no idea what humanity can do when pushed." The room erupted into orders, alarms blared, bases activated, and Earth's fleets powered up. The Helios was loaded with new systems, new weapons, and the advanced Apex core deep inside its hull. For the first time in history, all nations united with one purpose: to survive, to fight back, to show the galaxy that humanity was not weak, humanity was not prey, humanity was fire waiting to ignite. Above the planet, the Helios engines roared as the ship prepared to launch again into the unknown darkness of space. Captain Cole stood at the front window, watching Earth fade behind him. He felt no fear now, only resolve. The Empire had issued a threat, but they were about to learn the truth. Humanity did not kneel. Humanity answered, and the answer was coming. The weapon humanity never spoke about. The Helios floated in high orbit like a silent guardian, its hull glowing with the light of hundreds of new systems being installed. Engineers moved in swarms, attaching cables, welding plates, and activating dormant modules that had never seen daylight. Project Apex was awakening, and the entire ship felt alive, like a giant beast preparing to breathe for the first time. Captain Aaron Cole watched from the command deck, his eyes following the activity below. The Empire's threat echoed in his mind, but he pushed fear aside. This was not the time for doubt. Humanity had been pushed to the edge, and now they had no choice but to fight back with everything they had built in secret. Down on Earth, world governments were united for the first time in history. Every nation sent resources, soldiers, and scientists into the Apex program. Underground bunkers shook with the sound of massive generators powering up, factories worked non-stop, and spaceports launched ships one after another into orbit. Humanity was moving with speed never seen before. In a secure meeting hall deep below the surface of Earth, global leaders stood before the projection of the destroyed planet the Helios had found. The broken world hung in the air like a ghost, its burning fragments drifting slowly in the hologram. The message carved into its surface, "Earth is next," glowed like a wound, reminding everyone of the danger coming for them. A general spoke with a heavy voice, "The Empire fleet is already moving, their first wave could reach our system soon." A scientist stepped forward nervously, "Apex is powerful, but we never tested it in a real battle." Captain Cole answered from the screen, connected live from the Helios, "We do not have a choice. If we wait, we die. Apex must be used now." There was silence, then slow nods. Humanity had no other path. The room buzzed with tension. But beneath the fear was something stronger, a growing determination that spread like a spark catching dry wood. Humanity would not go down quietly. Humanity would fight. Back aboard the Helios, the crew gathered in the central control chamber around the Apex core. It was a large sphere of shimmering metal floating inside a gravity field, glowing with a heartbeat-like pulse. The core was alive with millions of microscopic machines and adaptive systems designed to read, predict, and evolve during battle. It was not just a weapon, it was a mind. A system created to analyze every enemy move and respond instantly. Lieutenant Harlow, the ship's tactical officer, whispered, "It feels like it's watching us." Cole replied softly, "It is. Apex learns everything it sees." The crew exchanged worried glances. Project Apex was humanity's greatest achievement, but also its most dangerous secret. No other species in the galaxy knew Earth possessed such technology. The Empire believed Earth was weak, divided, primitive, but they were about to learn how wrong they were. Outside, the deep black silence of space suddenly shifted as sensors detected massive disturbances. The Empire's first scouting ships had entered the edge of the solar system, sleek, dark vessels gliding with arrogant confidence, scanning Earth's defenses, probing for weakness. Their commanders believed Earth would beg for mercy once their full fleet arrived. But the Helios watched them silently, like a predator hiding in tall grass, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Cole stood at the front of the bridge as a warning alarm pulsed. "Enemy scouts detected," the officer announced. Cole nodded, "Do not fire, not yet." The Helios drifted quietly, shields humming, engines ready, Apex core pulsing brighter with every passing second. The crew felt the atmosphere change, a heavy pressure filling the room, as if the ship itself sensed danger approaching. Then Earth Command transmitted a secure message. "The Empire fleet is confirmed to be moving toward the Sol system. Their main force will arrive soon. You must be ready." Cole's voice was calm but strong. "We will be ready. Tell every base on Earth to activate final preparation protocol." Deep underground, bunkers opened hidden silos, drones took to the skies, satellites reactivated with new encryption technology powered by Apex algorithms. Every human defensive unit prepared for the coming storm. Humanity was building a fortress around itself, but also assembling a strike force strong enough to challenge even the Empire. Back on the Helios, engineers finished syncing the ship's systems with the Apex core. The ship vibrated as power surged through its structure. The lights flickered, then stabilized. The crew gasped as the sphere inside the core chamber split into 4 floating pieces, swirling slowly like moons around a dark star. It was awakening fully. "Apex online," the system announced with a deep electronic tone, analyzing threat. Everyone felt chills. It was the sound of a weapon that was more than metal or energy. It was strategy, intelligence, and adaptability forged into a single system designed for one purpose: to win. Cole stepped forward, Apex, calculate the Empire's attack pattern. The core glowed brighter. Calculation complete. Estimated time before main fleet arrival, 72 hours. 72 hours, that was all the time Earth had before the Empire's storm crashed into them. Cole turned to his crew. Prepare the ship for war. The Helios engines roared as the ship moved into position, taking a place at the front of Earth's slowly forming defensive line. Hundreds of smaller ships gathered behind it, forming a shimmering wall of steel and hope. For the first time in history, humanity was truly united, truly fighting as one. But something else was happening too. The Apex Core spoke again. New directive: Helios must strike first. Cole frowned. Explain? Enemy fleet movement indicates weakness at entry point, Apex replied. A single precise attack may shift the balance before war begins. The crew exchanged uncertain looks. Apex was suggesting something bold, something risky, something that could decide the fate of Earth before the Empire even reached them. Cole breathed deeply, his heart steady. Prepare for jump, he said. If humanity must take the first strike, then we will strike hard enough to be remembered. The Helios shifted into jump formation, the stars bending around it as the Apex Core pulsed like a beating heart ready for battle. Humanity was done waiting. The Empire wanted fear, but they were about to receive something else entirely. They were about to receive humanity's answer. And that answer would shake the galaxy. The Empire approaches. The Helios floated in the darkness just beyond the edge of the solar system, its hull glowing softly as the Apex Core pulsed like a living star. The crew stood ready at their stations, eyes fixed on the screens as distant sensors showed movement in the far reaches of space. The Empire was coming, and this time they were not hiding their power. Across the void, something massive shifted, then another and another, like shadows moving behind a curtain of stars. One by one, the signatures of enemy warships appeared, thousands of them, forming a wall so large that it blocked the light of distant suns. The Empire fleet was not arriving quietly. They wanted the galaxy to see their strength. They wanted Earth to fear them before the battle even began. Lieutenant Harlow whispered, "They are too many," her voice trembling slightly. Captain Cole watched the enemy shapes growing larger on the screen, but his expression did not change. "Numbers do not win wars," he said calmly. "Strategy does." The Apex Core glowed brighter, analyzing every enemy ship, calculating patterns, predicting formations. The crew felt like the air itself was vibrating, as if the ship was breathing deeper with every passing second, preparing for something immense. Suddenly, an alarm echoed through the bridge. "Incoming transmission," the communications officer announced. On the main screen, the face of the same Empire commander who had threatened Earth appeared, his smile cold and arrogant. "Humans," he said, "your resistance is pointless. You are insects facing the fire of a star. Surrender now and your world will be destroyed quickly." Cole did not answer immediately. He looked around at his crew, at the young officers standing firm despite the fear in their eyes, at the engineers holding their tools like weapons, at the soldiers standing behind the command rail like statues. He knew the truth: humanity had already made their choice. He leaned forward and replied with only one word: "No." The Empire commander's smile disappeared, replaced with annoyance. "Then your extinction begins," he growled. The transmission cut off, and at that exact moment, the Empire fleet surged forward, thousands of warships igniting their engines, their lights glowing like a rising storm. It was a terrifying sight, a wave of destruction racing toward the Helios and the entire solar system. Apex voice echoed through the ship. "Enemy formation detected. Weak point identified. Preparing counter-strategy." Cole tightened his grip on the command console. "Helios, hold position." The enemy armada moved closer, their massive ships spreading like wings across the empty space. Some ships were the size of cities, glowing with the energy of weapons strong enough to split moons. Smaller fighters swarmed around them like metal insects, moving in perfect formation. The Empire did not come for negotiation, they came for domination. "Captain, they are locking weapons on us," the tactical officer warned. "Hold position," Cole repeated, his voice steady like steel. "Apex is not ready yet." Every second felt like a knife slicing through the room. The crew could feel the tension in their bones as the enemy ships raised their cannons, preparing to unleash a storm of fire. The Empire believed their overwhelming force would break humanity in a single strike. But humanity was not planning to break. Apex Core suddenly flared with blinding white light. "System ready," it announced. "Activate Apex Pulse." Cole gave the order. "Do it." The Helios hull shifted as energy surged through the ship. Then a pulse of invisible light exploded outward, traveling across the battlefield faster than any physical weapon could move. It touched the first line of Empire ships, then spread deeper, sweeping across thousands of warships in seconds. And then, something impossible happened. Enemy shields flickered and died, weapons powered down, engines shut off. One by one, the Empire ships froze in space, powerless and drifting like dead metal giants. The crew of the Helios gasped as the impossible sight filled their screen. An entire enemy wave, disabled without the Helios firing a single shot. Lieutenant Harlow whispered, "This is unreal." But Apex's voice remained calm. Enemy systems disrupted. Window of advantage available for 180 seconds. Cole's eyes hardened. This was their moment. The moment humanity could prove they were not prey but predators. "Engage offensive drones," he ordered. "Target every disabled cruiser." From the belly of the Helios, swarms of Apex drones shot forward like a cloud of burning stars. They weaved through enemy formations, attaching themselves to disabled ships and detonating with perfect timing. Empire cruisers exploded in rows, one after another, filling space with rings of fire. The Empire panicked, their commanders shouted orders trying to reboot systems, but Apex algorithms kept evolving, blocking every attempt to regain control. The Empire had never faced a weapon like this, a system that adapted faster than they could react. But just when the battle seemed to shift completely in humanity's favor, new alarms rang across the Helios bridge. Massive signatures detected, the officer cried, "The Empire's elite fleet is arriving." The stars twisted again as enormous dreadnoughts emerged from hyperspace, each one dwarfing the ships the Helios had already defeated. Their armor glowed with ancient runes, their cannons charged with enough power to tear planets apart. These were the Empire's strongest weapons, their unstoppable champions. Lieutenant Harlow looked at Cole, fear touching her eyes for the first time. "Captain, those ships are beyond anything we have seen." Cole stared at the giant shadows appearing one by one. "Then we show them something they have never seen," he replied. Apex pulsed brighter. New threat analyzed, counter-strategy required. The battle was far from over. The first wave had been only a test. The real war had just begun, and now humanity faced the true might of the Empire. Cole took a deep breath, the fire in his eyes igniting. "Helios," he said, "prepare to fight the gods of the Empire." And with that command, the second and most dangerous phase of the war began. The human counterstrike. The arrival of the Empire's elite fleet changed everything. The light of distant stars vanished behind the massive dreadnoughts. Their shadows spread across the battlefield like huge, dark mountains moving through space. Each ship carried weapons powerful enough to break continents, and their presence alone made the Helios crew feel the weight of the coming storm. Captain Cole stood at the center of the command bridge, staring at the screens as the new enemy ships positioned themselves. Their formations were perfect, their discipline terrifying. These were not ordinary warships. These were the Empire's greatest blades, sharpened over thousands of years of conquest. Lieutenant Harlow swallowed hard. "Captain?" "Apex disabled the first wave, but those dreadnoughts, they are built to resist everything." Cole nodded, but his eyes remained steady. "Then we strike smarter, not harder." Apex core pulsed deeply, glowing like a heart of molten metal. Analyzing enemy dreadnought structure, the system said, "Weak points difficult to exploit but not impossible." The Helios crew watched as the dreadnoughts charged their weapons. Massive glowing cannons lit up along their hulls. Each cannon could erase the Helios in a single hit. The Empire's intention was clear. They wanted to end humanity's hope in one devastating blast. "Enemy weapons locking on," the tactical officer announced. Cole raised his hand. "Hold." The crew stared at him in shock. "Captain, if they fire?" "They will," Cole said calmly. "That is why we wait." The dreadnought's cannons grew brighter, energy pooling like suns trapped inside metal barrels. The battlefield trembled with the power building inside them. The Empire commander reappeared on screen, his voice dripping with arrogance. "Your small victory ends here, human. The galaxy will never remember your name." Cole leaned forward, his voice quiet but sharper than any blade. "Fire," he commanded. The Helios engines roared as the ship moved with impossible speed. Apex had predicted the exact millisecond the dreadnoughts would fire. The Helios shifted sideways just as giant beams of pure destruction ripped through space where the ship had been moments ago. The blasts tore through empty vacuum, exploding in a distant cloud of burning plasma. "Apex, engage counterattack," Cole ordered. The Apex core brightened in response. Then a wave of shimmering energy spread around the Helios. This was not a weapon of destruction, it was a weapon of precision. Apex extended its adaptive field, spreading through the battlefield like invisible threads. It began hacking into enemy dreadnought systems from the inside, searching for weaknesses. The Empire reacted instantly. Their dreadnoughts released counter-hacking barriers and sent waves of electromagnetic disruption toward the Helios. The battlefield lit up with invisible war, code against code, algorithm against algorithm, machine intelligence fighting on a level no living mind could understand. Apex resisting enemy countermeasures, the system reported, but enemy defense is strong. Cole narrowed his eyes. Then we add human strategy. He ordered the Helios to launch drone squadrons again, but this time they were not attacking ships directly. Instead, the drones scattered around the battlefield, dropping small devices that created static pockets in space. These pockets distorted enemy targeting systems, bending signals and confusing sensors. The dreadnoughts tried to track the Helios, but every time they locked on, the ship vanished into a pocket of distortion, reappearing somewhere else in a burst of speed. The Helios moved like a ghost, untouchable and unpredictable. "Captain, dreadnought shields weakening in Sector 3, Apex announced. "Good," Cole replied. "Hit them where it hurts." The Helios fired a concentrated beam directly into the weak point. The shot pierced the dreadnought's armor, causing an explosion that shook the entire enemy formation. The dreadnought did not fall, but it staggered, and for the first time the Empire felt fear. The Empire commander appeared again, no longer smiling. "Human, what are you?" he demanded. Cole answered with cold precision. "We are the species you should not have threatened." The Helios moved in tighter, weaving through enemy fire, letting Apex guide every maneuver with perfect timing. The Empire dreadnoughts fired and missed, fired again and missed. Their perfect war machines were being outsmarted by human unpredictability and Apex intelligence merging together. "Captain, enemy dreadnought number 4 losing power," Harlow announced. "Finish it," Cole said. A swarm of drones hit the weakened dreadnought, detonations blooming across its hull like burning flowers. The massive ship cracked, split down its center, and exploded in a brilliant burst of orange fire. The shockwave rocked the battlefield, leaving a debris field drifting in silence. One dreadnought down. But the remaining ones roared in rage, their weapons charged brighter than before, preparing another devastating strike. The Empire was not used to losing, and now they were furious. Apex spoke urgently. "Detected weapon charging capable of destroying Helios if hit." Harlow's eyes widened. "Captain, we cannot take that blast." Cole stood tall, his voice calm. "Then we do not let them fire." He raised his hand, full speed ahead, straight into their formation. The crew froze. "Captain, that is suicide," the tactical officer whispered. Cole stared at the massive dreadnoughts ahead. "Only if we miss." The Helios surged forward, engines roaring with every ounce of power. Flames of energy streamed behind the ship as it shot straight into the heart of the Empire's elite formation. Enemy ships panicked, firing wildly, missing again and again as the Helios slipped through gaps like a blade between armor plates. "Apex," Cole ordered, "shut them down." A blinding pulse erupted from the Helios, spreading through the dreadnoughts like lightning. Their charging cannons flickered, dimmed, and then went dark. The Empire commander shouted orders desperately, but it was too late. Apex had frozen their weapons at the critical moment. The Helios spun, released a final wave of drones, and the drones detonated in perfect unison, breaking the dreadnought line apart in a chain of explosions. The battlefield flashed with violent light, and the galaxy witnessed something it had never seen before. Humanity standing against an empire. And winning? The Empire kneels. The battlefield was a graveyard of burning metal, shattered ships, and drifting debris. The once invincible Empire fleet now floated in silence, broken and scattered across the dark sea of stars. The Helios hovered at the center of the devastation, its hull glowing with the fierce energy of the Apex core. Humanity had done the impossible, but the war was not over yet. Captain Aaron Cole watched the remains of the Empire's elite dreadnoughts fade into the void. His crew stood frozen in awe, their breath shaking as they tried to understand what they had achieved. For the first time in history, the Empire's strongest warships had been defeated, not by another ancient power, not by a superior species, but by humanity, the species the galaxy once called weak. But Apex pulsed again, a darker, heavier sound this time. "Incoming transmission," it said, "Origin, Empire Capital World." The crew tensed, every eye turned toward the screen as it flickered to life, revealing the face of the Emperor himself. His skin was pale, marked with golden scars, and his eyes glowed with ancient fury. For thousands of years he had ruled entire galaxies with absolute power, and never once had he been challenged like this. His voice was deep and cold. "Human," he said slowly, "you have destroyed my fleet, you have killed my commanders, you have broken the spine of my war machine." He leaned forward, his expression unreadable. "Now answer me, what gives your species the right to defy an empire that has stood for millennia?" Cole did not flinch. He looked directly into the Emperor's glowing eyes, his voice steady like iron. "You gave us that right," he said, "when you threatened our home." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Your world should have surrendered, it would have survived. Cole shook his head. Humanity does not kneel. Silence fell, thick and heavy, drifting across both ends of the transmission like invisible smoke. The Emperor stared at Cole for a long moment, as if searching for weakness, as if trying to understand how humanity had risen so quickly. Then he spoke again, softer but more dangerous. Then your world will burn. Apex flared. Enemy capital preparing superweapon activation. The crew gasped. A weapon powerful enough to erase Earth from the stars in one strike. The Emperor was willing to destroy everything rather than accept defeat. Cole stepped forward. Apex, he said, prepare final directive. The Apex core pulsed like a beating star. Final directive ready? The Emperor leaned back in his throne, laughing. You cannot stop what is coming, human. You are a spark trying to extinguish the sun. Cole's voice cut through the air like a blade. We do not need to extinguish the sun, he said. We only need to shatter the hand that holds it. With that final sentence, the Helios engines ignited, the ship surged forward, tearing through space like a spear of burning energy. The Empire capital world grew larger on the screens, its massive defense grid glowing like a web of blue fire. Millions of Empire soldiers prepared their weapons, ready to destroy the Helios the moment it came close. But Apex had evolved beyond anything the Empire could imagine. The core expanded its adaptive field, sending pulse after pulse of invisible energy into the Empire defenses. Turrets shut down, shields flickered, and entire planetary cannons fell silent. The Emperor's planet trembled as its strongest weapons died like candles in a storm. Apex field successful, the system reported, planetary defenses neutralized. Cole's eyes hardened. Begin final strike. The Helios released a wave of Apex drones, each glowing with burning blue light. They rained down on the capital world like falling stars, striking key structures with perfect timing. One after another, the ground exploded, towers collapsed, and energy grids shattered under the precision of human-crafted fire. Deep beneath the planet's surface, the Empire's superweapon core overloaded, sending shockwaves across the entire world. The Emperor stood up from his throne, rage and fear mixing in his eyes for the first time in his long life. This cannot be, he whispered, his voice cracking. Humans cannot do this. Cole watched him silently. You should not have pushed us, he said. And then the superweapon core detonated. The explosion ripped through the planet, swallowing the Emperor's palace in a massive burst of blinding white light. When the fire faded, the capital world was silent, powerless, broken. Apex spoke again. Empire command structure destroyed. The remaining Empire fleets across the galaxy received the message instantly. Their Emperor was gone, their power shattered, their greatest weapons defeated by a species they had underestimated. One by one, their ships lowered their weapons. One by one, they transmitted surrender signals into the void. And then it happened. Across the galaxy, across thousands of worlds, the Empire bent its knee to humanity, not out of respect, but out of fear. Humanity had shown strength beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. A species that once walked in the shadows of giants now stood above them, not as conquerors, but as survivors who refused to fall. Captain Cole stared at the fading light of the destroyed capital world. He felt no joy, only a deep, heavy calm. It is over, he whispered. Lieutenant Harlow stood beside him, tears in her eyes. Sir, we won. Cole nodded slowly. No, humanity won. The Helios turned slowly toward Earth, leaving behind the ruins of the empire that once believed itself eternal. Humanity's message now echoed across the stars, heard by every species, feared by every tyrant, remembered by every world. Humans are peaceful until pushed, but when threatened, humanity answers with fire. And the galaxy will never forget it.